Oh, yes, everybody. This is the Seahawks Uncovered podcast. I am Flex Matt, and he is Brandon Adam, and we cover the Seahawks for the Undroppables Podcast Network. Please give us a follow at the Flex Network One. And again, you're finding us at the Undroppables Podcast Network here. We really thank the Undroppables for allowing us the opportunity to cover our beloved Seahawks. But Brandon Adam, it is not a good vibe around town right now. I the first thing I wanted to bring up a little bit is that I'm okay with where the team is right now, right? I mean,
Mhm.
especially considering the injuries and everything that has happened with the other teams and namely the Niners, right? So, but when you look at it, the Cardinals sit atop the atop the division, but all three of our top teams are 4-4, with the Rams, who we play today, 3-4. Last year they dog walked us at home. You know, first game of the
Mhm.
season, your boy was there, Puka Nakua, a breakout game in his rookie year. Uh, do you think it's going to turn around and be very similar today? I know Puka is dealing with a knee injury coming out of practice, but I do not think that's going to hurt him and his value because he's kind of like a short read guy. I mean, he definitely gets downfield, but Puka could have 10 catches for 55 yards in any game, Brandon. But it just doesn't feel like, although we are 4-4 tied with the tops in the division, that the Seahawks are looking up. Is that how you feel, or is there? Can maybe you talk me off the ledge?
No. I mean, the problem is our offensive line is just the worst in the league. Like they are absolutely abysmal. I was looking at our passes over expectation numbers each on the weekly here, and we haven't had one besides week one of the NFL season. We haven't had a heavy run game script for our team. We haven't gotten the run going. We haven't kept with it. We haven't moved people off the ball consistently. Ed Oliver literally wrecked the whole game one single handedly last week. Oh, our center and guards could not deal with this guy even when doubled. Yeah, they're terrible, man. Like I'm worried because they need to. We will not be anything we want to be until we get that squared away and get Ken, our best player on offense, going. If we don't, if we do that finally, we do have a chance, and we could maybe sneak out this game if we get a turnover, because Matthew Stafford likes to sling it and he'll put it in positions where it's possible to go get it. And that's where I feel like this week is going to be coming down to is, can we get an extra possession or two this week to steal some points, because we're going to need it, because right now the Rams are on a heater. Everybody's getting healthy. They are excited. I mean, what they did against the Vikings last Sunday night was awesome. That was a heck of a game by Stafford. I haven't seen him play that way in a while, at all this year. It's only because his weapons weren't around. So, but I am very worried because we need to get to Stafford. We need to harass that guy. We know he's going to be back there and he's not going to be moving around a ton. So we know we can get to him. So they better finish. And to be honest with me, I'm embarrassed about how we played last week. Like
A
our
couple games this
team,
year, to be honest, a couple games this year we
dude,
have not
like
looked just.
last
I mean, not even close.
like last week, just everything from Gino looking like he's with the Jets again to Jaron Reed and your boy getting into it on the sideline, get screaming at each other, acting like just a couple of idiots, man. And that's not what good teams do, period, ever. Like, I mean, that's just not what they do. People that are pointing the fingers at each other, that's what they do. And it seems like our team is pointing the fingers at each other and telling, like, it just doesn't seem like everybody's pulling in the right direction here. And I hope Mike can get it together. He's a young coach, so he needs
Yeah,
to get his locker room together and get it going.
I think that and this is kind of what I was like tussling with myself before we got on the stream today, is that I don't mind accepting that we are really nowhere near a good team. I mean, we had a couple wins. We won against bad teams. I mean, the Falcons win was a turnover battle that we ended up winning that, which was great. I mean, if we can
steal
expect
wins that way.
yeah, and that's exactly what it is. You're stealing a win in this sense. You know, a defensive touchdown or a punt return. You know, that's all facets of the game. Obviously, I think it's pretty well documented that if you can win the turnover battle and get a defensive score or a special team score, you know the favor slides your way very very favorably in that sense. And so here's my thing. I mean, I don't mind accepting that we're not a good team. What I mind is everybody else trying to accept that we are a better team than we are. And I'm okay thinking, you know what, guys, we are in a rebuild year. We have the worst offensive line. We're not coming out to win games. We're coming out to get our guys involved the way we need to, get a little bit more, confidence rolling forward, confidence for next year, maybe be in the middle pack, but I want to be in the 12, 13 range for next year. See, like all those things I would really love to do if we're trying to accept that maybe we are a mediocre team and we don't deserve to compete. The thing is, the way the Seahawks are playing is it's like they are the best team in the division. They're not giving the ball to their guys that they need to get going. They're just not doing it. And so why are we not doing it? Why are we not giving the ball to Ken Walker for more than 9 yards a game? Why are we not feeding JSN when DK Metcalf is out of the game? Because you would imagine in a rebuild year, we want to give more opportunity to our guys to kind of get a little bit ahead. But what are we doing right now, Brandon? I mean, it's not that. So what are we trying to do?
I think they're trying to survive until DK gets back. But I honestly think this is Ryan Grubb. Like, this is the play caller. This is a guy not understanding this isn't college. You're not going to win shootouts with this defense that we have because we're going to give up a lot of points. So what he has to understand is that if Ken doesn't have 100 rushing yards, we have no chance to win games consistently. We need him to have 100 yards, man. Like that's how we win. JSN got quite a few looks last week. It's just they aren't getting him deep enough down the field. It's making me upset. Like, they need to start using him like a Puka Nacua. They need to get him on the deeper drag routes out of the flanker spot. Give him some of those looks. Lockett can run that stuff on the inside here and there if need be to get JSN, the more explosive guy, the younger legs, a shot at getting down the field. I just feel like they got a lot of choice routes for him. I get that, but if we aren't attacking the deep third, we are going to get crushed by people's pass rush and by them able to stuffing the run on the way to pass rush. It just doesn't make sense. So Brian Grubb needs to realize you aren't going to be winning 50-48, dude. It's just not how NFL works. You need to win 20, you need to be able to win 17-14 sometimes. If you need to be able to win those close games, and until he gets his play calling in order, until our offensive line stops screwing up series by getting terrible penalties or stomping all over Geno Smith's foot, trying to give it to Ken Walker on the one. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it looked like a clown show last week. I was furious last week, if you can tell, because it was just bad football, and it looked like a team that had no clue how to handle their nerves. And I don't like that. Say what you want about Pete. He never allowed that to happen. Our boys were ready to go when it was game time. Even if they made a mistake, they're going to make it at 100 miles an hour. Yeah, like back in the day, there was some issues with Richard Sherman and some of the boys getting after each other. But those guys were holding themselves to a different standard than these guys. Like it was a different kind of thing. Like
I can see. I mean, and not to mention how bad it was. We were at home in the rain.
At home.
The fans were taken out of the game almost instantly. I mean, it was basically a booze fest there, because why were you there? It was terrible football by our team. We were getting swamped out early. You know, and hey, here's the thing, you know, Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the game. It's arguably that he could be number one. I mean, over Patrick Mahomes' play this year in comparison, Josh Allen is definitely outplaying Patrick Mahomes this year with a lot less. Okay. Even Amari Cooper wasn't really involved last week. He got it done with the rookies, you know, which is great. Good for them. But our defense, it hasn't looked good lately. I don't know what's going on with Spoon. Okay. Last week, Spoon had 7 targets, 6 of them completed on him. Yeah, I think I understand the idea of what Mike Macdonald is doing. I think he's giving Spoon the opportunity to test his coverage ability. But when we talked about in preseason how we would love to see how Spoon was going to be used, and it was going to be in a Kyle Hamilton role, he is not being used that way at all. Terrell Dotson's being used that way, which is fine. T-Dot is one of our highest graded guys on defense, but he also let up 5 for 42, which that's not that bad. I mean, he's a middle linebacker trying to do everything in the freaking world. He's not Kyle Hamilton, which is fine, but we needed Spoon to be that guy. So why isn't Spoon able to be that guy? There's got to be something there that Mike Macdonald is noticing, or it could be that our backup corners aren't good, or
he can't afford to get anybody hurt, to be honest. Like they are at the bare minimum right now, and they've been that's the only hope that I have for our defense and some of our team here is the fact that we still don't have Abe Lucas. We still don't have a couple pieces on the offensive line, and then our defense, our secondary has been banged up. And so it's just I feel like we can get healthy, but we need to. I mean, we could be too far away from getting in pretty soon here. If we lose the next 2 weeks, we can't lose the next 2 weeks. We need to win here.
And you're right. I think it's close. I mean, you know, like I mentioned, it's 4-4 at the top of the division by 3.
Yeah, we're in it, dude. We're in it. I mean, say what we want to say about it, but we're in it. So if we can get healthy, we can get our center to actually chill the F out and block someone and get in somebody's way. Maybe we can allow Geno Smith to relax a little bit, because I haven't seen Geno Smith look like that way mentally. As a Seahawk, I haven't seen that. I'm upset that happened, but it's just what it is. And I just want Geno to calm down. But DK needs to get back soon, but we probably won't see him for another week after this, because it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for MCLs. So we still got to be able to win without him. But like I said, this is going to come down to Ken. And honestly, the Rams I think it's really going to be coming down to a Cooper Kupp game. And I think it's going to be Kyron. Kyron's still holding on to a touchdown record for consecutive games. I think it's like 15 or something crazy. Like it's something crazy. Like he's got a big record going. So they're going to try and get him in the end zone no matter what. So he'll get in the end zone. I really do think he'll get in the end zone. Our rush defense is not great. So I think they will be able to do their work. But we called last week. We said Khalil Shakir is going to absolutely murder out of the slot against our team, because our team really isn't that great out of the slot. And guess where Cooper Kupp lives? I think Cooper Kupp gets 10 targets today and can have like 9 for 120 and a touch. Like I think he's going to have a monster game.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua both play out of pretty much every position that is possible on the team. Let's look at some. I mean, I guess not really positives per se, but George Fant should play today. Potentially get the start on the right tackle side, which should give us a small bit of
Yeah.
uptick, but obviously DK Metcalf out, Noah Fant out. Now, last week, AJ Barner was our highest graded offensive player last week, as far as the line is considered, and the tight end. So he had a 70 grade. I mean, the guy was looking, does look pretty good. I mean, I think this is a good week for him to be able to solidify himself into more of a role in our offense here. So I'm actually imagining that right side, assuming that we put AJ Barner over there, he's actually the 16th graded tight end on the entire year right now, with a total 70 grade. So if we put him, George Fant, on that right side, we should be able to actually get some run over there. Fisk and Byron Young on the other side, they're in the 50s, especially in total grade. So we should be able to get by over there.
Have a chance. I think we have a chance in the trenches this week.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. And honestly, dude, Ed Oliver, like, the Bills
he's a grown-ass
were,
man.
bro, the Bills were one of the worst rush defenses the first, 7 weeks. And Ed Oliver came back the last 2 games and shut that down. One man. And I think he was a special player. We should have took in consideration that he was healthy. But we need our young bull to get after it today. Let's harass Matthew Stafford, man. I think we can get plenty of pressures. We've always have been able to generate some pressure. And I make it happen. Like I said, I want this to be a 17-14 game. Like,
yeah,
I want this to
game. Let's turn it ugly. Let's get in their face.
I want them to hit people so hard. I want them flying around. Make a mistake, whatever. But when you hit somebody, I want you to try to go put a hole through that person. Like, that's what you're trying to do. And we need to establish that as a Seattle Seahawk found culture. Like, nobody's scared about our tackling, dude. Like, no one. Like, it's kind of crazy, like, how everybody, like, every single analyst I've ever heard talk about Seattle, it's just like, at defensive people are just like, these guys don't tackle. Like, we just don't tackle, like we should. And that's the thing about Kyron Williams, man. You better tackle that kid. Like, that kid has more heart than anything in his
he'll never lose the chip on his shoulder. He's always
awesome.
going to be the small, slow guy that was never given a chance, and the Rams absolutely love him for it. He
knows how to finish too. Like, he knows how to finish.
Puka's got one of the top offensive against our cornerback matchups. Puka Nacua,
Mm-hmm.
he feasted last year against us. Will it happen again? It's definitely possible. I'd like to see us change some things up. I'd like to see us go into these 3 games stretch here against all divisional opponents here. We go Rams, Cardinals, Niners, or something like that. So we need to be able to come out of there 2-3, or 2 wins at least out of these next. And I would tell you, the Rams are actually going to be the easier of the wins, because
this is the one we got to win. Like, this is it.
Win this. And the Cardinals, I don't care about losing to the 49ers as much, just because I know their defense is so great. They have abilities to come out. The matchup of the night is going to be on the left side with Charles Cross and Jared Verse. Jared Verse, staring us in the face as a guy we could have drafted on that edge, and especially today, of late, when our edge pressures are not getting home. We are a highly pressurized team. We have 11 pressures on the week, which is pretty great. We just we're not able to get there. We have to get there. But that matchup, 6th rated left tackle, 13th rated. I think that's in right edge on that other side. That's going to be the highlight matchup to take a look at. If we can win some of that, we should be able to get Ken Walker in. I looked at his rush, his success on whatever side he's rushing to. His left outside rush is good. His middle right rush is really good. That features in as far as our defensive offensive line matchups to be a really good matchup for us. There is no Ed Oliver on the other side. There's young guys getting ready to play. Kenneth Walker still top 5 running back in the league.
Yeah,
Geno
no
Smith,
doubt.
Geno Smith, one of the top clean pocket passers in the league. Again, we're just not able to give him the clean pockets. But like I said, DK Metcalf out today. We need to get JSN. Last week, his stats finished the game pretty okay, 6 for 69.
Yeah.
But the problem is most of that came in garbage time, which
Yeah, it didn't
it's
matter.
not what
Yeah.
we need. It's not what we need at all. But let's take a look at some of these, the best bets on the week here. It looks like over 6.5 receptions for Cooper Kupp is one. About 66.5 yards is where he's sitting at. Kyron, a monster, 113.5 yards is a
Yeah.
prop. Obviously, the majority of that's on the under, which makes sense just because that's such a high prop. But you could clearly see what the hell's going on there with Kyron. He expects to have a big game against us unless we can do something crazy. Stafford over 22.5 receptions, over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and over 243.5 yards passing. It looks like, again, it features to be a pretty big game over there. It looks like Geno Smith has a very similar outlook. I mean, it's going to be a battle of who can get in the end zone first. I think we definitely want to start running this ball. But Brandon, let me ask you a question. What do you think Kenneth Walker's rush yards, rushing and receiving?
Where they are at right now on the prop?
On the prop.
Ooh. Combined, probably only usually gets 30 receiving. I would say probably 90 total.
Yeah, you got him figured out, bro. So 60 yards rushing for Kenneth Walker, top 5 running back in the league. That doesn't just attest to the play calling. It really doesn't. I mean, it's absolutely this atrocious line that we are running behind.
I understand.
We have to get that figured out for sure. And here's the thing. We talked about Ryan Grubb in the preseason about how he feeds his line. He really does, but we have not been able to see, or I guess we are seeing, what happens when the field goes from this big to small, because that's what it is, from the difference of being able to be spread out in the college game and not having that same distance left to right to actually fit your plays in. So, and then Ryan Grubb, what happens when your star running back gets stifled and he's only running for 10 yards a game? Now his entire system is not working, and we're seeing that. He has to get better. We have to get better. And
we need to run more duo out of the run game. We need to get up and double and let Ken figure out where to go. I think that's the only way we can really win, is by getting the movement in the line and then doubling into the second level. I think that's the only way we're going to be able to get explosive runs from Ken, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I like the idea of getting him and Charbonnet together in the backfield. It really seems to be working out for Breece Hall. You know, obviously Braylon Allen had a good game there, but he has since tapered off. Breece Hall has since been able to get a lot of good run there. Garrett Wilson and JSN, we talked about it. I mean, they were very similar highlight prospects coming out of the game. I mean, obviously a 20th overall pick versus a top 10 overall pick. There's a lot of difference. Garrett Wilson is more dynamic, but
he's a beast.
You're absolutely correct in the way that we're using JSN. We're giving him the ball in the first 5 yards, first 7 yards, allowing him to get some movement, maybe go run. But you saw it this week on Thursday Night Football. You gave Garrett Wilson the ball in just a quick out, a quick something. That's not where he can be extra dynamic. Get him downfield, give him the chance to burn some guys and get himself open. And even if he's not open, take the shot. Take the shot at your guy. take the
I
shot
agree.
at your first round pick. Brandon, what do you think the score is going to end up? I know you said 17-14. Is that your final answer?
No, it's not. That's why I think that's the way we win. I think honestly, I was so wrong. I've been wrong the last 2 weeks. So I'm gonna just say the Rams are gonna win because I need us to win. So I think I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think it's gonna be 28-17 Rams. I really do. Like, I just feel like they got their mojo back. I really feel like Stafford is feeling it, and Cup is going to be a monster, and Kyron's just going to keep going.
I can't believe you, Brandon.
It's just what it is, man. Like, I'm a realist. I'm a realist. I want them to. Dude, I'm hoping to mush us into winning, but we'll see.
I'm dying inside. I'm absolutely dying inside.
It sucks. I'm just a realist, dude. I just get it.
If the Seahawks win, they're going to have to score points. 28-27 Seahawks. That's the prediction on my end. But like I said, we got a little bit of light rain in the forecast today. It's going to be very similar. I think, in my opinion, it's going to be a very similar game to the Buffalo game. It's going to be muggy.
I hope it doesn't rain like that.
It's not going to be that hard a rain, but just having rain on the football field turns the game ugly.
Yeah, because they're a dome team, you know?
I know. I don't get the idea of building us a freaking open stadium. It's like, dude, when we had the Kingdome, it was warm inside there. Anybody could go and enjoy a game. You get the highlight plays. I hate this rain. And now we're getting an older stadium in the NFL. We're going to hopefully get a new one. Give me a little bit of a retractable something or other. But either way, Brandon, I really appreciate you coming on, and appreciate everybody for tuning in. Follow us at the Flex Network 1. We are covering the Seahawks for the Undroppables at the Undroppables. Give them a follow. We had Jax Falcone on our podcast about a week or so ago. If you guys would like to tune into that, please go back into our feed and find it. But we appreciate you guys. And for the 12s, let's give a go Hawks to everybody.
Come on, man.
We got to get something. We got to get some fire under us.
Let's get it, man. Let's have some pride today. Play with pride.
All right, Brandon. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.